The Tasides used caves for shelter, while the Negritos construct dwellings made of stick driven into the ground and thatched with leaves. To which can you attribute the difference in shelter? A. Human intelligence. C. Gender difference. B. Exposure to society. D. Availability of materials. The answer is
What is a Maharlika? Select 1. A. It is the highest social class in pre-colonial Philippines. B. It is the lowest social class in pre-colonial Philippines. Circa it is considered as the middle class since they are free men. D. These are the advisors of the Babaylan. The answer is?
The answer is A. It is the highest social class in pre-colonial Philippines.
Spain's aim to stay in the Philippines for 300 years was to A. Control the spice trade in Malaysia. B. Gain material profit out of her colonial venture in the Far East. C. Maintain its powerful suzerainty. D. Spread the Christian religion.
Answer is D. Spread the Christian religion.
What kind of government was established in the Philippines during the Spanish regime? Select 1. A. Democratic government. B. Centralized government. Circa decentralized government. D. Federal government.
The answer is B. Centralized government.
He was appointed Field Marshal of the Philippine Army responsible for the defense of the country prior to the Japanese invasion. A. General Dwight Eisenhower. B. General Douglas MacArthur. C. General William Howard Taft. D. General Carlos P. Romulo. Answer is B. General Douglas MacArthur. These statements would best describe the power of Complace. Select 1. A. It is the power to make any law that is applicable to the colony. B. It is the power to make judicial decisions. C. It is the power to create any institution of government. D. It is the power of the Governor-General to engage in business. The answer is A. It is the power to make any law that is applicable to the colony. The number of ships that arrived in the Philippines from Mexico during the galleon trade. A2 B3 circa 1D5. The answer is 2 ships. During the galleon trade, 2 ships would typically travel between Manila in the Philippines and Acapulco in Mexico each year, one heading east and one heading west. 1. While only one ship initially returned from Mexico to the Philippines in 1565, the trade thereafter established a system of 2 ships per year. 5. There is no evidence to support that 5 ships regularly traveled between the Philippines and Mexico during the galleon trade. Official records consistently mention 2 ships per year. What is the main characteristic of the pre-colonial economic system? Select 1. A. Production is just enough for the households until the next harvesting. B. Production is done through trading. C. Production is done to produce surplus. D. Production is done through central planning. The answer is B. Production is done through trading, which is not true about the end of the Second World War. Select 1. A. An atomic bomb was dropped in Tokyo. B. The Japanese continued their dominance in Asia. Circa an atomic bomb was dropped in Hiroshima. D. The Americans emerged as victorious. The answer is B. How did the World War II ended? World War II ended with the surrender of Germany in May 1945, VE Day, and the surrender of Japan in September 1945, VJ Day. Germany surrendered after Allied forces closed in, Hitler committed suicide, and the Soviets captured Berlin. Japan surrendered after the US dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. This replaced the tribute as more of a form of taxation in the Hispanic Philippine colony in 1884. A. Donativo. B. Santotum. C. Diezmos Prediles. D. Cedula Personal. The answer is Cedula Personal. How was the Philippines ruled during the Spanish regime? Select 1. A. The Philippines was ruled indirectly by Mexico. B. The Philippines was ruled directly by Portugal. C. The Philippines was ruled indirectly by Spain. D. The Philippines was ruled directly by Spain. The answer is A. The Philippines was ruled indirectly by Mexico. The first real battle fought between Filipinos and the Spaniards is known as A. Majayjay. B. Pugatlaan. C. Pinaglabanan. D. Montalban. The answer is C. Pinaglabanan. The first real battle fought between Filipinos and the Spaniards is known as Pinaglabanan or the Battle of San Juan del Monte. While some sources use the term Pinaglabanan to refer to the first battle, others use San Juan del Monte. Both names denote the same event, which occurred on August 30, 1896, as part of the Philippine Revolution against Spanish rule. Which might be the reason why the Spaniards succeeded in quelling all Filipino revolts. A. The Spaniards hired soldiers to suppress the revolts. B. The Filipino natives lacked unity. C. The Spaniards fought the Filipino rebels with strong determination to win. D. The Filipino natives were docile. The answer is B. The Filipino natives lacked unity. The event that convinced Jose Rizal that, in his country, the Filipinos were not treated with justice because of being Indios belonging to underrated race. A. When his complaints were not heard by the Governor-General. B. When his mother was imprisoned. C. When the 3 priests were executed. D. When the tax of the hacienda leased by his father was increased. The answer is C. When the 3 priests were executed. The priests were executed by garrote in Bagumbayan on February 17, 1872. This event, known as the martyrdom of Gomburza, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, was a result of their alleged involvement in the 1872 Cavite Mutiny and was carried out by Spanish authorities. Date: February 17, 1872. Location: Bagumbayan, now Rizal Park. Names: Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, collectively known as Gomburza. Reason: accused of treason and sedition in connection with the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Born in Santa Cruz, Manila on August 2, 1799, he was the parish priest of Bacoor, Cavite at the time he was involved in the Cavite Mutiny of 1872. A. Andres Urdaneta. B. Mariano Gomez. C. Vicente Garcia. D. Jacinto Zamora. The answer is B. Mariano Gomez. Gomburza incurred the hatred of Spanish authorities for fighting for equal rights among priests and leading the campaign against the Spanish friars. They fought on the issues of secularization in the Philippines that led to the conflict of religious and church seculars. Why is the de Legazpi expedition considered the most successful one? Select 1. A. Because it was able to conquer successfully the Philippine Islands. B. Because it was able to discover a lot of treasure that they brought to the Spanish crown. C. Because it was able to come up with new areas to conquer. D. Because it was able to travel the fastest among all preceding expeditions. The answer is A. Because it was able to conquer successfully the Philippine Islands. When the Filipino reformists asked the assimilation of the Philippines by Spain, what did they ask for? For the Philippines to blank. A. Be represented in the Spain colonies. B. Become province of Spain. C. Be independent from Spain with certain conditions. D. Become independent from Spain. The answer is B. Become province of Spain. The Philippine Organic Act of 1902, Cooper Act, provided for the establishment of the Philippine Assembly. What crucial condition, specifically stated in the Act, had to be met before this assembly could officially convene? A. The unanimous election of all provincial governors by popular vote. B. The publication of an official census and 2 years of absolute peace in the islands. C. The Filipino electoral turnout had to reach a minimum of 50% of registered voters. D. The capture of Apolinario Mabini and the complete cessation of hostilities in Luzon. The answer is B. The publication of an official census and 2 years of absolute peace in the islands. How did the opening of world trade contribute to the development of Filipino nationalism? Select 1. A. It allowed the rise of the Principalia. B. It allowed the Chinese in become rich. C. It allowed the influx of liberal ideas in the Philippines. D. It allowed the migration of liberal scholars. The answer is C. It allowed the influx of liberal ideas in the Philippines. What is the role of Graciano Lopez Jaena in the reform movement? Select 1. A. He wrote poems that talked about Philippine independence. B. He became the greatest painter in the Philippines. Circa he wrote letters that enlightened the Filipinos. D. He became the first editor-in-chief of La Solidaridad. The answer is D. He became the first editor-in-chief of La Solidaridad. The Malolos Congress, which drafted the Malolos Constitution for the First Philippine Republic, was primarily composed of A. Wealthy and educated Filipino illustrados and professionals, many of whom were appointed by Emilio Aguinaldo. B. Founding members of the Katipunan's Supreme Council who led the initial revolution. C. Representatives democratically elected by every barangay and town in the archipelago. D. Military generals who had successfully fought against Spanish forces in various provinces. The answer is A. Wealthy and educated Filipino illustrados and professionals, many of whom were appointed by Emilio Aguinaldo. Which of the following pre-colonial legal codes, although its authenticity is questioned by modern historians, is traditionally associated with Datu Sumakwil and the establishment of written laws for the Panay region? A. Code of Luaran. B. Sikatuna Code. C. Maragdas Code. D. Code of Kalantiao. The answer is C. Maragdas Code. The Maragdas, a historical document whose authenticity is debated, is the traditional source associated with Datu Sumakwil and the early laws of Panay. Who holds the unique distinction in American history of being the only person to have served as both the Civil Governor-General of the Philippines, 1901 to 1903, the President of the United States, and the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court? A. Francis Burton Harrison. B. Arthur MacArthur Jr. C. William Howard Taft. D. Luke Edward Wright. The answer is C. William Howard Taft. William Howard Taft was the first civil governor-general of the Philippines and is the only person to have served in all three of those high-profile American government positions. The extremely oppressive tobacco monopoly, which forced farmers in key provinces to exclusively grow tobacco and sell it solely to the colonial government, was officially established in 1782 by which reform-minded Spanish governor-general? A. Rafael Izquierdo y Gutierrez. B. Fernando Primo de Rivera. C. José Bosco y Vargas. D. Felix Berenguer de Marquina. The correct answer is C. José Bosco y Vargas. José Bosco y Vargas established the tobacco monopoly in 1782, a measure intended to make the Philippines financially self-sufficient and profitable for the Spanish crown. That's all for now, for our Part 1 for 2025 Updated Questions Social Science Review. For more updates, just like and subscribe and follow Part 2. Will be posted soon. Thank you for watching.